Tonight on News 5 Live, a desperate search for a Belizean American man. We'll take you to Biscayne, where a search party is on the ground to try to find Owen Tucker Sr. GOB is tight-lipped on NEAC's decision on the Port of Belize expansion project. And the Children's Parliament convenes today for a robust discussion on vocational education. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Who offers the best home internet experience? The truth is, Digi, of course. Diginet has the largest fiber network and the fastest speeds with the most reliable service. That's more learning, more earning, more gaming, more bonding, more sharing, getting more things done. And now, Diginet is even more affordable with the new entry plan, a 20 megabits per second fiber connection for just $49 monthly, and increased speeds in all plans. The truth is, only Digi has the ultimate home internet experience, with savings up to $270 when you bundle. Wireless and cable can't give you that. So what are you waiting for? Sign up or make the switch to Diginet today to enjoy more speeds to get more done. Digi, or National Telecom.
Watch The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. exclusively on Channel 5 Belize. The Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings every Sunday at 8 a.m. on Channel 5 Belize.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double P-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Friday and Saturday. That's right, 2 times the P-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with P-Bucks Builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, P-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
It's that time of the year when all that stands between you and all of this is...
Give me 5. Give me 5.
Give me 5! Yeah! That's all it takes. Get your coupons at Channel 5 and Coney Drive and Channel 5's website. Then, starting Monday, December 5th, keep those phones close and tune in to Channel 5 at 8 p.m. as we start our nightly giveaways until Friday, December 9th. Remember, when the phone rings, don't say
Hello.
Say, give me 5.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening. Welcome to News 5 Live for Friday, November 25th. I am Annalena Polonio. Today, the search officially began for missing Belizean-American businessman Owen Tucker Sr. A group of police officers, relatives, and friends gathered at the Washing Tree Eco Park and resort formerly known as Crockland to look for the 66-year-old man who was last seen alive on Tuesday afternoon leaving the property. But in an interesting twist today, one of the employees, a member of the search party, was arrested by police in connection with the investigation. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
It has been 3 days since Belizean-American businessman Owen Tucker Sr. was last seen alive somewhere in the vicinity of his recently purchased Crockland property off the Philip Golson Highway in Biscayne. Today, his relatives who live in Belize gathered along with police and others to search for him.
As his only immediate family in Belize, the most immediate, his sister-in-law, his niece, and my sons, we decided to come from Belmopan to join the search. I went there, I just came from there, and there's only some police that is there, along with Miss Bernadine. So we basically just do a small search around the property, and nothing have come up so far.
I understand that the police have introduced drones to see how they can...
Yes, I do saw there's some drone there. They're using that.
But with each passing day, the chances of finding the 66-year-old alive keep growing slimmer. Marina Tucker and her children are, however, holding on to hope.
We're hoping for the best at this moment, especially for his elderly mom's sake. He's the last surviving child out of 4. She had lost 3 of her children within an 11-month span, and this is her last surviving child. We're hoping that he would come, we will find him, that he's somewhere, that he will contact us. So he's not a person that leave without communicating some family member. His son, his nieces in the U.S. Whenever he goes, he would make sure that his mom is taken care of. The person that attend to his mom, he would call and make sure she's been fed. But since Tuesday, no one have heard from him. His phone goes into voicemail.
Relatives confirmed today that Owen Sr. suffers from a heart condition, but say that if he was walking and fell ill, his body would have been found somewhere along the 2-mile road between the highway and the property.
Exactly. And he doesn't walk without his medication. He always have a small bottle, because he even mentioned to me personally some years ago when he first came to live to Belize that he never walked without that in his pocket. So he always have that. What I'm thinking is that medication that may have been at home is the bigger portion, and he traveled with some in his pocket. But it's not like Owen is that sick that he need that medication. Like, if he have slight pain in his in his chest area, that's when he will use that medication. So this is my first time back here, and I do notice there are residents in the area It's about what, a mile and a half in. I don't see how would he disappear from there to the entrance here. So something have to happen between leaving and being out here.
Also joining in on the search were those with whom Tucker Sr. had been working, including friend and employee Bernadine Reed. Reed was the person who made the missing persons report and has been in contact with his family members. But in a shocking twist this afternoon, one of those persons, the driver with whom Tucker Sr. recently had an altercation, was taken into police custody.
When I came out, we were sitting there, and the officers who were using the drone and came out, they came straight out. We were sitting there, Mr. Jerome was there as well. So they came and they called Mr. Jerome, which both of us walked across the street, and they told him that he was under arrest, that he should contact his attorney, and they took him away.
In relation to Mr. Owens'
In relation to Mr. Owens' disappearance. As far as I'm concerned with everything that has been going on, and I know Jerome was his driver as well, and I know that Jerome was the one who took him where he wanted, and like I said yesterday, they did have their falling out over the weekend, which Mr. Owens said, I fired Jerome, but then on Tuesday yet he called him to come and take care of the guys who were up here, you know. So what the police has found, to be honest, I don't know. So all I know that they have come to take away Jerome while he was out here. On the Thursday, he went into CIB and he gave his own report, I guess, and they went through his phone, saw whatever text, I guess, exchanged between both of them. And I don't know what aspired from then. Since then, Mr. Jerome has been up here with us trying to locate and find, you know, Mr. Owen. So honestly, I don't even know what to say. I honestly don't know what to say.
There has since been a halt to the construction works taking place on the property, and Tucker's son, who is on deployment in Japan, is expected to arrive in Belize in the days ahead. It is believed that the FBI will be getting involved.
I would rather the police to do the thorough investigation. My family, his family, I know they're planning to get a private investigator. We also are doing, the family is also, because it's a U.S. citizen, so once the Belize Police Department is okay with it, they will get the FBI get involved. So we're still at the process for things to happen.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
A group of 11 persons, many of whom are family and friends, walked free from charges that were brought against them in August 2021. They were arrested following an alleged party that was held on a boat during the state of emergency, which was associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, they appeared before Chief Magistrate Sharon Fraser, who asked 6 of the 11 defendants if their plea of not guilty still remained. 31-year-old Evan Thompson told the court that while it was his 30th birthday, he chartered a vessel to take family and friends to Caye Caulker instead of transporting them to the island by water taxi, since it was at the height of the pandemic and social distancing was required. According to Thompson, when the police came aboard and arrested them, no one was partying. The boat was simply being used to ferry passengers privately to Caye Caulker, and that they were all masked. He even went as far as telling the court that there was a total of 60 persons on board the vessel, which the arresting officer also attested. Thompson said that he was not on the boat at the time of the arrest, but that because it was his event, he was also charged. Chief Magistrate Fraser believed that the police officer could not sufficiently prove the charge, since there were others on board who were never arrested and charged for the alleged offense. With that, the matter was struck out as the case had been lingering before the court for too long. 24-year-old Nicholas Strapp, a fisherman of Chinook's Village, appeared unrepresented before the lower court today, where he was charged with a single count of fishing in a conservation zone. It is alleged that on November 11th, he was caught fishing within the Blackbird Key Conservation Zone. In his possession were 19 conchs inside a canoe. Earlier today, he wasted no time, that is, in pleading guilty, and a non-custodial sentence, a fine of $2,000, was handed down. He was fined an additional $50 per count, amounting to $950 for the harvest that was found in his possession. Trapp has until May 19, 2023 to pay the initial fine and until February 28, 2023 to pay the additional fine, or in default, he will serve 6 months in prison. Another fisherman was also charged from Chinook's Village for the offense of fishing in a conservation zone. 35-year-old Leonardo Mesh, however, is challenging the allegations brought against him by the Fisheries Department. On November 11th, Mesh was discovered in the vicinity of Dogflea Key, where he was found in possession of 42 conchs. Dogflea Key is within the Blackbird Key Conservation Zone. Mesh initially pleaded guilty to the offense, but when the facts were presented in court, he did not accept them and instead entered a plea of not guilty. He was offered bail in the sum of $2,500 and is due back in court on January 15, 2023. Coming up, the first meeting of the UNGOB National Steering Committee.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother, for they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck." Mother is one of the sweetest words this side of heaven. There is no one who holds, controls, or determines the destiny of our country like our mothers. Napoleon once said, "She who rocks the cradle rules the world." Proverbs says, "Honoring your mother and father's teachings will crown you with grace and be a chain of honor around your neck." A man stopped at a flower shop to order some flowers to be wired to his mother, who lived 200 miles away, and as he got out of his car, he noticed a girl sitting on the curb sobbing. He asked her what was wrong, and she replied, "I wanted to buy a red rose for my mother, but I only have 75 cents and a rose costs $2. The man smiled and said, "Come on in, sugar, and I will buy you a rose for your mother." He placed his order for his mother and bought a rose for the girl. As they were leaving, he offered the girl a ride, and she responded, "Yes, please take me to my mother." And she directed him to a cemetery where she placed the rose on a freshly dug grave. The man returned to the flower shop, canceled the wire order, picked up the flowers, and drove 200 miles to his mother's home. Tributes are but empty phrases, if in words alone they dwell. We must live the praises due her, if we'd honor Mother well. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
The IBL committee will be bringing out the rings and trophies this Saturday, November 26th at the Belize Civic Center. Will this be the end of the tournament? And will 15 kings be crowned? Or will there be a decisive and third game 3? This Saturday, the Belize Civic Center will not be the same. A king not named Charles will possibly be crowned, or a superstar will force a game 3. Will there be a champion? They all walk like a champion, talk like a champion. What a piece of money. 7:30 p.m. will be the battle for 3rd and 4th place between the Belize Coast Guard and the Belize Water Service. And then, let's get ready to rumble. If you are what you say you are. In the grand finale of the night, the superstars will be out in Game 2 of the Best of 3 series. Rico Black and the Toughen of Tours, led by Francis Naitiarana, Ian Renee, and Jamal Kelly drew first blood and are now ready to close off the Central Health Customs squad, led by the #1 point guard in the land, Glency Cooper Lopez, alongside Akeem Evans and Stephen Wade, seeking to force it all the way to Game 3. Breaking news caught up to a tough enough player after their big W. What message you have for the Central Health Customs guys?
Tell them that the series over and we're about to.
The half-tank will feature the young and dynamic Belize superstar Yastalia performing her hit song Tropics.
In the tropics, I'm the hot topic. I built the tribe, I'm living.
Just another level! Bring out the entire family this Saturday, November 26th to the Belize Civic Center. Sponsors: Racina's Imports, J&W Supermarket, Mahip's Wholesale, Barefoot Hotel, Cabana Used Clothing, Midway Wholesale, Mirage Belize, Car Guys, Harris Import, Prestige Auto Sales, Cellular World, Posh and Store, VIP Wireless, Nando's Wholesale, Benny's Home Center, Crystal Water, Sprite, Powerade, Travelers, Channel 5 and Channel 7, Creme, Wave, Love FM and More FM. Let's get it on!
Do you qualify for Amnesty 2022? This is your opportunity to find out. You qualify if you are registered as an asylum seeker with the Refugee Department before the 31st of March 2020, residing in Belize before the 31st of December 2016, have children born in Belize on or before the 31st of December 2021, completed your education in Belize, married to a citizen of Belize for a year or more, living in a common law union with a citizen of Belize for 5 years or more, referred by the Department of Human Services, gainfully employed in Belize for 5 years. To find out more on how to apply, go online to www.immigration.gov.bz. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
Traditionally, society had looked to men to provide for their families' economic well-being, to defend our nations and protect their families from harm. As human society evolves, so do our role in society. In today's world, we appreciate many more contributions that our men make to our society, the workplace, and the home. On International Men's Day, we acknowledge the traditional and evolving contributions of our Belizean men.
We encourage you to celebrate International Men's Day on November 19th under the theme Recognizing Belizean Men and Boys. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Families and Children in collaboration with UNICEF.
On Thursday, a joint United Nations Government of Belize National Steering Committee meeting was held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Belmopan. The meeting was to ensure that the UN Multi-Country Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework 2022-2026 and the country implementation plans are aligned with the development processes and commitments. This is particularly as it relates to Belize's national development plans and the Sustainable Development Goals. It also looked at support for resource mobilization for the cooperation framework and the development of financing opportunities. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
The United Nations Belize Joint Steering Committee monitors progress and steers the direction of implementation of the UN Development System work in Belize. On Thursday, the committee met for the first time as it charts the way forward for its 5-year cooperation framework for the country. The committee comprises UN agencies in Belize and key government ministries and statutory bodies.
I wish to express my deep gratitude to the government of Belize and the UN country team for the close collaboration in implementing the new UN MSDCF. I would like also to take a moment to thank the government of Belize for leading the way with the signature of the second UN cooperation framework in the Caribbean, an important signal for the rest of the region on the added value of uniting the voices of SIDS and middle-income countries that are at the forefront of the climate crisis.
The regional director of the UN Development Coordination Office for Latin America and the Caribbean, Roberto Valente, says that Belize has been making progress in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals.
The 2021 United Nations Sustainable Development Report indicates that Belize is on track with the SDGs on sustainable cities and communities, responsible production and consumption, and climate action. And the country is demonstrating moderate improvements on good health and well-being, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, among others.
The UN system has had strong, long-standing partnerships with Belize and the Caribbean on a wide range of issues. Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Ambassador Amal Umai, says that despite the pressures from the COVID-19 pandemic and the rebuilding of the economy, there were positive moments experienced over the past few years.
We saw the people unite in the aftermath of the recent hurricane, helping each other in the face of adversity. The floating of the Blue Bond remains a positive undertaking, and I think we have weathered the fight against COVID-19. But through all the travails and the good times, the UN has been a constant partner, working closely with government to contribute their expertise and support in addressing challenges head-on, never losing sight of the vulnerable population who are at ever greater risk of marginalization during these periods of crisis.
The UN system plays a critical role in global development, and in Belize, the collaboration is visible across many sectors, including education, human rights, citizen security, health, and more.
I can proudly say, on behalf of our colleagues of the different agency funds and programs working in Belize, that we use this year to work on not only the implementation plan for Belize, and started to implement it, by the way, but also a financial landscape analysis, and recently started consultations to inform the partnership strategy to accompany the UN MSDCF in Belize and for supporting the government to implement its medium-term development strategy, as well as looking for resources for the accomplishment of the 2030 Agenda and the SDGs.
Several UN agencies and programs have received approvals for their strategic program aligned with the cooperation framework and the government's plans. Dwayne Moody for News 5.
Mum's the word at the Ministry of Sustainable Development in the wake of a decision taken by the National Environmental Appraisal Committee on Thursday, following a final round of public consultations earlier this month regarding the construction of a cruise terminal as part of the Port of Belize expansion project. NEAC convened a meeting to decide whether or not the project will be given the green light. Notwithstanding information that has been published elsewhere in the media, News 5 reached out to Minister of Sustainable Development Orlando Habet for a comment earlier today. He said that he cannot comment on the matter just yet, as he has not received a copy of the official DOE report. He told News 5 that his subsequent response will be based on a letter to the developer. As we mentioned, the second round of public consultation was held on November 11th. At that meeting, Environmental Officer Kenrick Gordon explained what happens should the developer not be granted environmental clearance.
If they do not get environmental clearance, the project cannot proceed. This is one of the criteria for them to proceed. I'm not sure. I don't know what is the schedule, right? In terms of when do they want to start construction, and I can't recall it, right? But definitely they don't have environmental clearance, so that is one of the criteria as recommended, or as that they needs to meet. Hence the reason why we are here today, trying to get environmental clearance.
As the country continues to recover from the impact of Hurricane Lisa, a little over 3 weeks ago, the gaps in basic needs are being exposed. Earlier this week, we showed you the handing over of food supplies by a group of Asian businessmen from Stand Creek to the Belize City Council to assist families finding it difficult to return to normalcy. The Public Sector Workers Trust is doing the same and has just announced the start of its food assistance program. The program is in response to an online survey which indicated that 4 in every 10 persons in its membership have been affected by the steady increase in prices of goods and services. Today, News 5 spoke with trustee Dr. Philip Castillo about the project.
The trustees met and we decided on a food assistance project. And basically what this project is that we have partnered with supermarkets countrywide, and the aim is that we provide a basket of food and groceries to every single beneficiary. The maximum value of the basket is $150, and it excludes alcohol and cigarette products. We have an ongoing online survey, and I think it was about 38 or 39% of respondents on our ongoing survey said that they are experiencing food challenges, purchasing basically food and groceries, etc. Bear in mind that not all, but most of our beneficiaries are retired public officers who may be living on their pension checks alone.
Sir, how many persons stand to benefit from this project?
Well, we have a beneficiary listing of around 10,000. Unfortunately, some have passed on. Some are not in the country. So we are hoping maybe around 7,000 beneficiaries can access this project.
There are over 7,000 beneficiaries of the PSWT's Food Assistance Program. And Dr. Philip Castillo says that already the office is being contacted by the membership on how they can access the support in areas across the country. Dr. Castillo breaks down the procedure.
The procedure for accessing is that, one, you call our office, and our office will ascertain that you're a beneficiary and then send you a form. If you're in Belize City, you could actually visit the office and get the form. This form is in triplicate. With this form, you visit the supermarket of your choice. In Belize City, we have MOUs with public supermarkets. We have MOUs with the Sancas Group, that's with Batambala and with Save You. So then, you are now entitled to $150 worth of goods and services, foodstuffs and groceries. And then the store, because the form is in triplicate, the store would keep 2 copies of the form. And then when they stamp 1 copy and send that back to us at the trust, we then make payments. So what we're doing then is a paper trail so that our auditors can follow. As is now, we have not yet signed MOUs with supermarkets countrywide. We are negotiating with providers in Corozal. We hope to get contact information for providers in Punta Gorda. So the aim is that you access the project in your district location, which makes it easier for the beneficiary.
After the break, students hold Mature Children's Parliament debate. But first, here's the weather report from the Belize Meteorological Services.
Good evening, everyone. With your weather report for today, Friday, November 25th, from the National Meteorological Service of Belize, I am Crystal Rosales. Fair and dry conditions prevail today over the country, with no rainfall activity observed. A moderate to fresh southeasterly airflow will dominate our weather over the next few days. For tonight, skies will be partly cloudy over northern and inland areas, and cloudy at times along the coast, with a few showers affecting the Stann Creek and Toledo districts. Lows for tonight will be in the upper 70s along coastal areas and lower 70s over Corozal, Orange Walk, and Cayo. For tomorrow, skies will be sunny with a few cloudy spells over the northern districts and cloudy at times over the rest of the country, with a few showers affecting the Belize, Stann Creek, and Toledo district during the morning, and then isolated showers and thunderstorms will affect inland areas during the afternoon. High temperatures for tomorrow will reach around 87 degrees along most of the coast, 86 degrees Fahrenheit over the Toledo district, and in the upper 90s over Cayo, Orange Walk, and Corozal. Now taking a look at the next 4 days. Relatively moist and unstable conditions will continue into the weekend, with a few showers and isolated thunderstorms expected. Then activity will become isolated by Tuesday. Here's our regional satellite imagery. It was relatively quiet over the region, with only moderate shower activity over Nicaragua, Honduras, and the Gulf of Honduras. There is a cold front over the northwestern Gulf of Mexico, which will lift out of the area during the next 24 hours. Another cold front will move into the Gulf of Mexico tonight and meander before weakening and moving out of the area. At this time, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next few days. Looking at our marine conditions, winds will be blowing from the east to southeast and seas will be choppy with 3 to 4 foot waves for today and tomorrow, then become light chop to choppy for tomorrow night with 2 to 5 feet waves. And now for our astronomical conditions. A low tide occurs at 6:07 tomorrow morning, followed by a high tide at 12:26 in the afternoon. Another low tide will occur at 5:07 in the evening, and then a high tide at 11:19 at night. The sun will rise at 6:03 in the morning and set at 5:15 in the evening. Moonrise is at 8:58 in the morning and moonset at 8:11 at night. This weather report was brought to you from the National Climate Change Office through UNDP's Climate Promise from Pledge to Impact project. Thank you and join us again on Monday for another weather report. Have a pleasant evening and weekend.
My lights, yeah. Go to my lights, go to my lights. You gotta go to my lights, yeah. I wanna shine, 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 shine. I hit my lights cause that's my plan, 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 plan. My lights have your favorite brand, 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 brand. Just come with nothing in your hands, 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 hands. My lights, and it goes on and on and on. It goes on and on and on, yeah. I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah, yo, baby let's go. My lights, I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah, yo, baby let's go. We going to the stores, but we gon' do right. We gon' light a life, only with my light. We going to the stores, but we gon' do right. We gon' light a life, only with my light.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
It's that time of the year when all that stands between you and all of this is...
Give me 5. Give me 5. Give me 5.
That's all it takes. Get your coupons at Channel 5 and Coney Drive and Channel 5's website. Then, starting Monday, December 5th, keep those phones close and tune in to Channel 5 at 8 p.m. as we start our nightly giveaways until Friday, December 9th. Remember, when the phone rings, don't say
hello.
Say, give me 5.
Belize's elected parliamentarians often get a bad rap for unsavory comments towards each other and the general manner in which they conduct themselves during national debates in the House of Representatives. Today, high school and tertiary level students held a debate of their own on the topic vocational education development and conducted themselves in a manner that our real parliamentarians may want to strive for. But while the youth's behavior was collectively on point, so were their arguments for the passage of the bill, or at least a simulated passage of it. Student leader of the opposition, Lily Pike, opened up the debate.
This town fund adding another high school while also making a brand new tertiary level institution. Not only does this island not have the funding to do so, it does not have the population. On Keecocker, there's a total of 2,000 people. It simply does not make sense. I provide a compromise. Why create something from scratch when we could instead create something, when we could instead develop what we already have? In quite a few institutions in Belize, these courses have already been embedded into their curriculum. You know these as technical schools, such as IT Vet, Orange Rock Technical High School, and Ladyville Technical High. By providing accessibility and education, we not only help those who are not academically inclined, we also give the chance for those who love academic school to continue their education. Technical schools are available, they just need to be better. If we change our focus to them, we begin to give every student, whether they prefer academic or technical education, the opportunity to learn.
The debate continued for well over an hour, after which there was also a session set aside for student senators. But the arguments for and against the further enhancement of vocational education in each municipality was one that drew solid arguments from student parliamentarians on both sides of the floor. Thomas Serratt served in his capacity as Prime Minister during the robust debate.
We are not all in pursuit of academic activities and scholarly goals as our means of livelihood. A quote by Andre Gide states, and I quote, "Man cannot discover new oceans unless he has the courage to lose sight of the shore. We must not solely focus on academics. We must also make way and pave the road for those that would rather establish their lives based on tactile and more hands-on approaches to the society. For they make up the roles of what we don't usually see behind closed doors. Careers that require specific skills or knowledge of a trade are highly essential to overall development. Such individuals are necessary in a functioning society, for we are not all going to become so-called captains of an industry. but that the feats of those in a versatile, skilled, and at times strenuous labor is just as, if not more important, to uplift and maintain a nation. It is not derogatory, nor is it lesser to take on these roles. A keen example of the utility of these skills was displayed in the response within various sectors before, during, and after Hurricane Lisa.
One student who stood out during the debate was Maria Cal, student area representative for Belmopan. Not because she is visually impaired, but because even with her physical restrictions, she eloquently argued for and on behalf of everyone who has a disability and whose needs are overlooked every day in public spaces by the absence of amenities like wheelchair ramps and braille signs.
As all our youth with diverse abilities would not be able to be as active and engaged in these courses, not because they don't want to, but because the necessary infrastructure, the appropriate accommodations, resources for students and staff, as well as the necessary policies are not in place for them to participate. What about having properly built ramps, wheelchair accessible space, readable signs in braille, and e-books, just to name a few examples? Also, would the certified trade instructors be able to teach these youths with diverse abilities? Today, I stand representing all our youths with diverse abilities in hopes of seeing a change for the betterment of our lives and for us to be included in every aspect of society.
We keep hearing of nerve-wracking incidents of violence within the home or between spouses that sometimes end up fatal. It all seems to be a never-ending cycle of abuse that gets dragged before the courts. At the center of many of these scenarios are children who are either the victims of the atrocity or are first-hand witnesses of it. But if there is any hope of at least containing the number of cases, there must be some effort to doing so. And that's where the 16 days of activism plays a role. Today, the campaign started off with a candlelight procession through the streets, following an official launching ceremony. Earlier, various ministers of government, including Prime Minister John Briceño, joined the Minister of Human Development, Dolores Balderramos Garcia, in discouraging violence against women and children.
Gender-based violence has a profound impact on health. It can contribute to HIV prevalence, cause unintended pregnancies, and increase the rate of maternal injury and death, in addition to leading to other detrimental physical and emotional outcomes.
Girls and young women often experience violence at home, from physical punishment to sexual, emotional, or psychological violence.
Acceptance of violence as a private affair often prevents others from intervening and prohibits girls and young women from reporting.
Certain groups are more vulnerable to violence, including girls and young women from poor, rural, or indigenous communities.
No more.
No more.
No more.
Call it out.
Enough is enough.
I condemn violence
against women and girls.
But while gender-based violence continues to be a perpetual problem in our society, the education and awareness campaign does not stop. In fact, while the 16 days of activism is front and center at this time, those who work behind the scenes at the National Women's Commission, like Eleanor Murillo and Giovanni Brackett, told us that their mission is to create policies that protect women and children, and the effort is a year-round one.
Throughout the 16 days, all partners and stakeholders are working together to amp up the type of awareness that we do all year round. So it's not only during 16 days that we do this type of work. This year's theme is Unite Activism to End Violence Against Women and Girls. So it's speaking to everybody, working together to ensure that we eradicate this pandemic by itself, which is gender-based violence. We have to target different stakeholders. So as you rightly said, women who are most often the victims of gender-based violence, girls and boys who are also victims and can be perpetrators, men. We also engage men and boys, because gender-based violence affects our entire society. It's not just a woman's issue, it's a human rights issue.
You can't be between a rock and a hard place, especially when someone you know, as I'm somebody who not only knows a lot of people, but people knows me, and then you have to get involved in a particular situation. Some male may expect you to be very, to be more apologetic for them, or, to be very supportive. But I tell any of my friends that you will get into all sorts of trouble, I'll be there for you. But if you beat a woman, don't expect me to jump out of my bed any time of the night or the morning to go. So for me, it's not difficult because growing up, I had to witness my babysitter being beaten and being kicked down 13 flights of stairs. Wow. If you have a woman, she's of age, and you two are going out, beating her won't make her into what you want, Yeah. You could bully her, you could intimidate her, but that's not love.
The event is held over a 16-day period because it starts on the day of elimination of violence against women and it ends on December 10th, which is International Human Rights Day. When we return, PUC hosts web development competition for high schools.
My lights, yeah. Go to my lights, go to my lights. You gotta go to my lights, yeah. I wanna shine, 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 shine. I hit my lights cause that's my plan, 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 plan. My lights have your favorite brand, 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 brand. Just come with nothing in your hands, 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 hands. My lights, and it goes on and on and on. It goes on and on and on, yeah. I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah, yo, baby let's go. My lights, I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah, yo, baby let's go. We going to the stars, but we gon' do right. We gon' light a life, only with my light. We going to the stars, but we gon' do right. We gon' light a life, only with my light.
Mr. Ronald Gordon, our Chief Met Officer, confirmed that Lisa made landfall at 3:20 p.m. yesterday, 3rd November, 10 miles south of Belize City.
The impact of Hurricane Lisa on Belize City has been devastating. Families' lives have been disrupted. People, livelihoods, business livelihoods, obviously has been severely impacted. The goal really is to transform these hurricane weather-beaten streets and neighborhoods into livable, traversable spaces again. Getting back to some measure of normalcy. It's a wide cross-section of partners encompassing both public, private sector, of course being led by the government of Belize, the Ministry of Infrastructure. We have NEMO with us, we have CEMO, we have the Belize City Council, the Orange Walk Town Council, the BDF, the Coast Guard, and a wide scope of other partners. Obviously, their efforts here today is being met with great enthusiasm and optimism by the people of Belize City. For us at CITCO, it means more muscle on the ground to achieve the task. We face one of the greatest natural disasters ever brought upon the city. In my lifetime, in their lifetime, we face it together. Now it's even more important that we face the recovery process, the rebuilding process together. We must exercise patience on all accord.
The IBL committee will be bringing out the rings and trophies this Saturday, November 26th at the Belize Civic Center. Will this be the end of the tournament? And will 15 kings be crowned? Or will there be a decisive and third game 3? This Saturday, the Belize Civic Center will not be the same. A king not named Charles will possibly be crowned, or a superstar will force a game 3. Will there be a champion?
Me all walk like a champion, talk like a champion. What a piece of money.
7:30 p.m. will be the battle for 3rd and 4th place between the Belize Coast Guard and the Belize Water Service. And then,
let's get ready to rumble. If you are what you say you are.
In the grand finale of the night, the superstars will be out in Game 2 of the Best of 3 series. Rico Black and the Toughen of Tours, led by Francis Naitiarana, Ian Renee and Jamal Kelly drew first blood and are now ready to close off the Central Health Customs Squad, led by the #1 point guard in the land, Glency Cooper Lopez, alongside Akeem Evans and Stephen Wade, seeking to force it all the way to Game 3. Breaking news caught up to a Tough Enough player after their big W. What message you have for the Central Health Customs guys?
Tell them that the series over and we're about to.
The halftime will feature the young and dynamic Belize superstar Yastalia performing her hit song Tropic.
In the tropics, I'm the hot topic. I built the tribe, I'm living.
Just another level.
Bring out the entire family this Saturday, November 26th to the Belize Civic Center. Sponsors: Racinos Imports, J&W Supermarket, Mahib's Wholesale, Barefoot Hotel, Cabana Used Clothing, Midway Wholesale, Mirage Belize, Carve Guys, Harris Import, Prestige Auto Sales, Cellular World, Posh and Store, VIP Wireless, Nando's Wholesale, Benny's Home Center, Crystal Water, Sprite, Powerade, Travelers, Channel 5 and Channel 7, Creme, Wave, Love FM and More FM. Let's get it on!
I will be there. Thank you so much.
Why are you so excited?
Let me tell you a secret. I just got off the phone with Santa.
Hi, Santa. For Christmas, I want a pea shooter, a football. iPhone and a makeup for Christmas.
Oh, come on. 1 second.
We just learned that Santa's phone number has just been revealed. The number is 227-7132.
I'm sorry, Dad. I shared Santa's phone number.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
This morning at the Belize City Center, entrepreneurs from across the country gathered for the grand return of Entracon, a business showcase organized by Beltrade. The event had been placed on hold during the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, there were pop-up shops outside of the venue and presentations on growing and strengthening small business inside the Civic. News 5's Isani Cayetano reports.
Beltrade's Entrepreneurship Convention is back. Following a 2-year hiatus, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Antracon, as it is otherwise known, focuses on businesses, primarily those that fall within the categories of micro, small, and medium enterprises. Ida Romero is the proprietor of ER's Icy Treats in Orange Walk Town. During the pandemic, he decided to venture into something different, and that gamble is paying off.
It all started in 2019. To bring in 2020, I decided to make a 5-gallon of wine, blackberry wine. I never want to buy liquor, right? So I said, I want to make my own wine. And then from there, everyone enjoyed it, everyone liked it, and they encouraged me, hey, next business opportunity, do wine. Because I made a really nice wine. And from there, I said, okay, I'll try next year. So early 2020, little did we know the pandemic would come upon us. And while at home, lockdown, I said, all right, we don't have much to do. I will do wine. We have enough time to make wine.
Beyond the exhibition of small businesses outside of the Belize Civic Center is a meeting of commercial minds. Antracon 2022 is being held under the theme Empowering MSMEs in the Disruptive Era. Dr. Leroy Almendares is the Executive Director of Beltrade.
We have an expo outside where businesses are out there. Find out what they're offering, good products and services, and they're actually available for purchase. And they're meeting those standards because it's through this group, this sector called MSME, that this economy will continue on its rebound, even though we recently had the challenges of Lisa. But look how quickly when we worked as a community, how things were, how much, with those efforts, how much was accomplished in a short period of time.
What is equally interesting is the imaginative ability of business owners across the country. In Kamalote, Shalwa Leslie has started Farm to Perfection, a small business that specializes in products that are made of the beehive.
We create products by using byproducts from the beehive. So yes, we sell honey, but we make lip balm, we make painkillers, wax polish, crayons, which is our latest product. Because it's the first time I made it, it took me all day. But that's always the first time for every product that I make. But crayons, because crayons is made from wax, and wax we get from the beehive. And our promise to the customer is that we create products by using the byproducts from the beehive. Because we are creating a new economy in Belize, and we want to show women, we want to show other beekeepers, we want to show the country on a whole that we can produce. There are some things that we underuse in Belize, and the beehive is one of those things.
Inside the city center, there was an ongoing conversation on the modernization of business in Belize. That dialogue was led by Beltrade and other public and private sector stakeholders.
We're talking about not only digitization, you would hear things about blockchain, but what is the government doing? What is in terms of the enabling environment? The government is putting in legislation, looking at procedures, looking at policy changes that will make things much easier. We just had the launch of an MSME policy and strategy, and that came out of challenges that we found when we did a socioeconomic impact assessment. And a lot of the things that we heard, access to finance, that women were the ones that were more disadvantaged when it came to banking and things like that. And so this entrepreneurship convention, because basically what it does is bring individuals, with certain not only best practices but specialities that they can share.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
The Public Utilities Commission hosted a web development competition this morning for secondary school students from 8 high schools across the country. The tech-based challenge in some ways replaces its predecessor, Raspberry Pi. This morning, we stopped by the Biltmore where students gathered to participate in the competition, which saw serious prizes being afforded to the winning team and school. Director of Operations, Suzette Tillett, explains.
Actually, this year, it's not the Raspberry Pi. Actually, this year we're doing a web development competition. So this competition started in August of this year, where we trained the teachers while they were on summer break. And then when they went back into the classroom, they then impart this knowledge on their students. And now what we have here today in the competition is the culmination of what the students learned by developing a website of their own.
Can you give us an idea of who all are taking part in today's competition?
So we had initially about 15 schools that did the training and started with us, but the actual competition today we'll have 8 schools presenting. So what we're seeing here is each school gets an opportunity to present their website to the judges. The judges would ask them questions, and then we will have who the winners are by the end of the day.
How impactful is this kind of an undertaking on our existing education system, considering we're catering to students in this instance?
So what we at the PUC is looking at is the future, the digital future. We know in terms of websites, we've gone through a pandemic where everything now is going online. So we see the importance in this, in building that digital footprint for Belize and our growing students. And so we've extended this to the high schools, where this is where they get their foundation. This is where we're hoping that these future students will be the future inventors of something from Belize. And so that is why the PUC have undertaken this initiative, replacing, I would say, the Raspberry Pi for this year, but we will see how we go along with that. Today, one of the big things the students are excited about is the prizes. There is a first prize of 3 computer systems, full systems, meaning everything from the monitor to the printer to the everything, for their computer labs at school. The second prize person will get, school will get 2 of these systems, and then the third place will get 1 system to take home.
The tourism season has just entered its peak season, and the number of flights arriving in San Pedro from the Philip Goulson International Airport with visitors at this time has flooded air traffic at the island's only airstrip. So now that tourism is expected to blossom in the coming months and years ahead, there is a plan to construct a second airstrip on the other side of the quay that will be able to accommodate bigger domestic planes and at the same time offer an ease to the air traffic congestion at the current airstrip. Area Representative for Belize Rural South, Andrea Perez, shared the plan with us.
The San Pedro airstrip is already congested. The flights are coming out of Hamburg, and the PGI coming to San Pedro is fast becoming a crunch time. If you will go this week right now, it's going to mark the beginning of the tourist season, and lots of more flights from PGIA to San Pedro. Out of every 100 passengers that arrive at PGI, 8 of them come to either Kikak or San Pedro via flights. So that says figures that we have to make some plans. We cannot extend more the runway, the San Pedro airstrip. So what we're looking at right now is the possibility of expanding and making a bigger runway and airstrip up north. Not the Basel Jordan area, it's closer. We're looking at a place to build maybe an 8,000 feet runway that will be able to take over bigger planes that will take 30 passengers. The reality is this. The Cessna aircrafts take 14 passengers. Whenever you have 5 airlines arriving there with almost 800 passengers, how do you mobilize all of these small Cessna aircrafts with 14 flights? It doesn't make any sense economically. So we're looking into that the only way to do that, if they're coming to Hamburg's Key, is opening up a runway up north.
Earlier this week, we showed you how the volume of trash and plastic carelessly discarded winds up in the waterways around San Pedro. That, coupled with the clearing of mangroves and the removal of sargassum from the beachside, have all led to beach erosion. But very shortly, the San Pedro community will undergo a land reclamation exercise to restore important portions of the beach that have experienced erosion. Area Representative Andrea Perez explained to us on Wednesday that the reclamation will extend well beyond a mile in length along the beach.
From Boca del Rio all the way past the park and all the way down to where the Esmeralda Park, where the school, the Catholic school is. That is roughly about 1.2 miles. So we are embarking on a major program that we have to do beach reclamation. Of course, in keeping with the DOE and everything in place, we'll have to do some sand dredging, and it's very complicated, but it's necessary. We need to do it, and that is going to happen in 2023, quicker than you expect. So it cannot be piecemeal. It has to be a whole grand plan, and we ask the community that to be patient, but it's for a greater good, to expand that beach as much as 40 feet out.
Just ahead, spreading Christmas cheer with debris left from Hurricane Lisa.
How are we to measure the success of our lives? For many, an ordinary life should have the following: a job, a house, enough money to buy a new car. But what if we threw out the ordinary? What could escaping ordinary at our jobs do? How about for our marriages? What if I told you we could all be escaping ordinary? Join us as we begin our new series.
I had a black dog. His name was Depression. Whenever the black dog made an appearance, I felt empty and life just seemed to slow down. He could surprise me with a visit for no reason or occasion. The black dog made me look and feel older than my years. When the rest of the world seemed to be enjoying life, I could only see it through the black dog. Activities that usually brought me pleasure suddenly ceased to. He liked to ruin my appetite. He chewed up my memory and my ability to concentrate. Doing anything or going anywhere with the black dog required superhuman strength. At social occasions, he'd sniff out what confidence I had and chase it away. My biggest fear was being found out. I worried that people would judge me. Because of the shame and stigma of the black dog, I was constantly worried that I'd be found out. So I invested vast amounts of energy into covering him up. Keeping up an emotional lie is exhausting. Black dog could make me think and say negative things. He could make me irritable and difficult to be around. He would take my love and bury my intimacy. He loved nothing more than to wake me up with highly repetitive and negative thinking. He also liked to remind me how exhausted I was going to be the next day. Having a black dog in your life isn't so much about feeling a bit down, sad or blue. At its worst, it's about being devoid of feeling altogether. As I got older, the black dog got bigger and he started hanging around all the time. I'd chase him off with whatever I thought might send him running. But more often than not, he'd come out on top. Going down became easier than getting up again. So I became rather good at self-medication, which never really helped. Eventually, I felt totally isolated from everything and everyone. The black dog had finally succeeded in hijacking my life. When you lose all joy in life, you can begin to question what the point of it is. Thankfully, this was the time that I sought professional help. This was my first step towards recovery and a major turning point in my life. I learned that it doesn't matter who you are, the black dog affects millions and millions of people. It is an equal opportunity mongrel. I also learned that there was no silver bullet or magic pill. Medication can help some, and others might need a different approach altogether. I also learned that being emotionally genuine and authentic to those who are close to you can be an absolute game changer. Most importantly, I learnt not to be afraid of the black dog, and I taught him a few new tricks of my own. The more tired and stressed you are, the louder he barks, so it's important to learn how to quiet your mind. It's been clinically proven that regular exercise can be as effective for treating mild to moderate depression as antidepressants, so go for a walk or a run and leave the mutt behind. Keep a mood journal. Getting your thoughts on paper can be cathartic and often insightful. Also keep track of the things that you have to be grateful for. The most important thing to remember is that no matter how bad it gets, if you take the right steps, talk to the right people, black dog days can and will pass. I wouldn't say that I'm grateful for the black dog, but he's been an incredible teacher. He forced me to reevaluate and simplify my life. I learnt that rather than running away from my problems, it's better to embrace them. The black dog may always be part of my life, but he'll never be the beast that he was. We have an understanding. I've learned through knowledge, patience, discipline and humour, the worst black dog can be made to heal. If you're in difficulty, never be afraid to ask for help. There is absolutely no shame in doing so. The only shame is missing out on life.
NextGen te lleva a Qatar. Disfruta de la acción en vivo y la emoción de la Copa Mundial Qatar 2022 exclusivamente con NextGen del 20 de noviembre al 18 de diciembre. Haz el cambio y regístrate hoy. NextGen, la transmisora oficial de la Copa Mundial de la FIFA en Belice.
After a rough week of school, Jake and his friends decide to treat themselves to frozen coffee. And since they don't have cash on them, they decide to use eCash. With eCash's geolocation feature, Jake can easily find the nearest coffee spot. With eCash's built-in option to split bills, Jake can pay the bill and his friends can reimburse their portion of the bill. Jake scans the merchant's code and confirms payment. Jake then views his transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made, then taps the split the bill button where he selects the evenly option to evenly split the bill. The application splits the bill automatically. His friends receive and accept the request. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash makes Jake enjoy his digital lifestyle.
Sabrina Daly is bringing in the Christmas spirit in this week's Look on the Bright Side. And her meeting with Maureen Navarrete might change your view of all the debris left from Hurricane Lisa. She is a fashion designer, interior designer, and miniature maker. But most unique about this creative designer is her choice to work with recycled materials. Sabrina found out how Maureen chose to use her latest materials to share some Christmas spirit in this week's On the Bright Side.
On the Bright Side is brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
In the month of November in Belize, the drive home from the culture capital is the journey into the Christmas season. When the drumming stops, the bells start jingling. And after picking up the pieces from Hurricane Lisa, we can all use some Christmas spirit. Debris is still littered across the country, and in the Belize district, where majority of the impact was endured, what's left are the memories in the remains of the storm.
See how flexible it is?
Oh yes. Maureen Navarrete is a resident over at Western Pines, and today I was her assistant debris collector.
And then you join all of it together. Yeah, you have to join like this. See? This was from our soursop tree. Can you imagine about 2 months ago, our soursop tree was so full. I remember making soursop ice cream, soursop juice, and you know, it hurt my heart when I saw the tree went down, parts of it then, right? And I said, you know what, I have to use that part of that and keep this as memory, you know, as a remembrance.
Maureen is a creative designer by profession. She's known for using recycled materials to make creative pieces. Cardboard boxes come alive in her final pieces like themed backdrops and miniature settings. Why does she do it?
One, it's cheaper, but two, we want to save the planet, right? And why not? You know, every time we go to a store, I would see a whole heap of cardboard boxes outside. Everything will pick up this. You know, where are those going? In the garbage? They might burn it, you know. And I said, why not use these stuff? Why not create things out of, I wouldn't call it garbage, it's cardboard, right? Cardboard can be made, you could make so much thing out of cardboard, you'd be surprised. So this is a part of the debris that I actually used to make the base of the wreath.
And in the spirit of recycling, Maureen questioned what she could do with the debris left from the recent passing of Hurricane Lisa. Her latest piece not only serves as a way to make use of fallen trees, but a memory capsule of the foliage that served us when they were living.
I could recall being at the back door and I saw my neighbors pulling out trees, cutting down trees, and you know, everything was in a mess. And Christmas soon come and I'm like, this is a lot of branches. I could have, you know, make something out of it. And my first thing that I wanted to make was actually a wreath for the door. So I said, why not try some of the branches and see if it, if it's flexible enough to make like a curve. So I remember getting a piece of this soursop branch, and I started to twist it and turn it and tie it together, and I actually made a wreath. So there was actually a news that I saw with an elderly woman whose tree went down. I think it was a sapodilla tree. I'm not sure which media host did that interview, but I wish I was there to actually make a wreath for her from that sapodilla tree. Afterwards, it came to my mind. I said, imagine how she would have felt if she had gotten a piece of that tree. And this will last to me forever because branches won't disintegrate, right?
Navarrete is selling these wreaths made of debris and shared with us that she plans to use part of the proceeds to give back to single mothers that were affected by the storm. Her early Christmas message is that we can find the good in everything.
So this is our final product of the wreath made from debris. I believe in hope, and there's a positive in every bad situation. So as we had faced a storm, we can see that now there is hope and light has shined. And I like to say season's greetings to everybody, and this is my way of showing the bright side.
Looking on the bright side, I'm Sabrina Daly.
On the Bright Side was brought to you by Uno, a brand committed with the future.
Ho, ho, ho! This Christmas, the first present comes from Uno. Get one coupon for every purchase of $25 in Uno fuels, per quart of Uno lubricants, or 2 coupons per gallon. Get into the spirit. It's Christmas time. Uno, a brand committed with the future.
If you would like to contact Maureen, she can be reached on her social media, Amar on Facebook. And to the lady that lost her sapodilla tree, if the remains are available, she would still like to make that wreath. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5believe.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Adeline Apollonia. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.